Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I wish I can get these videos done fast. Where'd it go? The key was just there. Where the hell did it go? Rasa! Rasa, have you seen the... What are you doing?
I'm watching Shaggy and Scooby-Doo get a clue.
Why are you watching that?
Well, besides the fact that every screen in this apartment besides my phone is playing Velma on repeat, I decided to watch a Scooby-Doo series that took away from the formula. And besides the animation and they're not doing mysteries, the show's not that bad. It just kind of reminds me of like those early Scooby-Doo, Shaggy and Scrappy shows. Like I said, I think it was just the animation and the storytelling that got everyone irritated. Besides that, it's actually a good show.
Rasa, video!
Fine. Play season 2. Well, at least it's toned down on the mean-spiritedness. Let's get this one over with. No, Hate Watching did not give the show a second season. More likely, they had a contract for 2 seasons, and when Max saw what happened, they have to reason which one's more easier, breaking the contract or completing it. And based on courts and paperworks, I kind of feel like completing would have been more easier. And Max only producing 1 commercial for this show proves how much they're behind it, and all the people who did work on this show are all doing this.
Oh, I see nothing. I was not here. I did not even get up this morning.
Did this season actually improve Velma? Now that the restraints are off, can she be a better mystery solver? 3 weeks have passed from the first season, timeline-wise, and Velma and Daphne are going to a pool party which is in the woods.
Rasa, what are you doing?
I'm looking for serial killers who are perfect for these in-wood scenarios.
Did you find one?
Well, Michael said he would do it, but it's way too far. Freddy said he could do it, but they need to be asleep.
What about Jason?
He's not answering. Velma and Daphne are still having their issues with the fact that Velma told Norval she loved him. They end up finding the partially buried corpse of the sheriff, and it turns into a crime scene. And Velma wants to dig up Victoria's corpse because horror movie rules. Stop using meta humor! You are not good at it! Well, Velma believes that she's rich enough to fake her own death, and Fred believes that ghosts are real, which a new character just jumps in and joins in on the conversation. Yeah, I actually kind of agree that it's a stupid way to introduce a new character to the show. What the hell?
Yeah, I built an android to help you out. Well, it's just in case you get injured during the videos, you need someone to go in for work for you while you recover.
Hi. Can I continue? Well, we meet Amber, the new member whose gimmick is the love of the supernatural, to counter Velma's science-based attitude. And we'll be staying with Daphne to cause third-wheel situations.
Why couldn't they just make Fred the supernatural one?
They still need a butt monkey. Since the art team that did the hallucinations can't do the work since Velma has no excuse to freak out, the writing team put it that Norval's now going to be dealing with all this due to PTSD, and the only way to counter it all is to eat. They are really trying so hard to make him be Shaggy. Well, at least I give him points. They're doubling down on the no drugs. Fred has now turned to Catholicism for his ghost hunting business, and I'm happy it shows they're changing from the last scene of them hitting each other to actually getting along, as it shows Fred's grown, and then it lost me as he wanted to make out with Daphne.
He's still a teenager.
This episode was basically all the characters burying the hatchet. We have Velma and Norval trying to rebuild their awkward friendship, Norval trying to get Fred to forgive him for the accidental death of his mother, and Velma and Daphne are actually sitting there talking about their relationship issues. It was all good until Velma's logical attitude ruined it. Please, I beg you, please don't let this relationship drama be the whole season, please. With the mystery, the clues are being led to questioning where the body went, and that the person in question is their biology teacher.
And you didn't bring him up?
Cuz the only thing about him is that Velma's mom is into him, and Velma just wants to use him to get an apprenticeship in some college. And the one joke that he has an STD. That's all that's about this guy. Sadly, he is murdered, so he is not on the list. Next episode, school starts and the biology teacher is a no-show. With the police showing up, they quickly put their foot down on Velma with trying to solve this mystery. Velma also notices that Fred's doing his own investigation. She wants some answers, and he's not giving her any. What's the point? If it's going to be like last season, we're just going to be dealing with her waiting for everyone else to hand her the clues for this case. Velma decides to force herself to join with Fred for a school festival/contest, where they grease hinges as it's a tradition to prevent people from getting shot because of fear of mining dust. I think the writers are using a different kind of dust for this kind of show, if you know what I mean. Velma rigs a selection where she is working with Fred and Daphne's working with Amber. They're trying to make Amber like Velma's antagonist, but it feels more like a third wheel, as they're trying to get Daphne into the supernatural stuff, which leads them to the hospital where they meet a creepy coroner. Velma, I get what you're trying to do, but can you try a little harder with your red herrings? Daphne and Amber are greasing up all the doors, only to find the corpse of the police and the teacher, which they find out they both have one thing in common now.
And that is?
Well, they're both Ken dolls.
What? I don't get it. What the hell? Oh!
While Velma and Fred are doing the job, mostly just having Velma on her soapbox about religion, they find the crime scene of the dead teacher, and while looking through Fred's notes, gives Velma an idea, and after some quick research, it leads to Norville. What he's doing? Norville's bonding with one of the victims, Lola, as he's trying to give the three girls who lost their bodies a way to move around. And when confronted, he starts hallucinating. After seeing that scene, I wish the writing team had the same level of talent as the art team. After a quick snack, Norville explains that he dressed it up in a costume so he wouldn't get caught, stole all of his grandma's notes, as he thinks it could help him fix his mental issues. With Fred and Velma meeting up with Daphne and Amber, they're getting the info from each other, and all the info that they gather proves that all the info that Fred got all came from Daphne's mom's. And when Daphne wants to talk to Velma about personal issues, Velma tells Fred to gun it and they escape in his car. Velma confronts Daphne's moms about all the info they gave to Fred, to which one of them admits that they sent it to Fred as they were having a hard time trying to solve this case while trying to run for sheriff. Throughout one of them's complaining, the janitor was recording all the info to give to the dead sheriff's brother, who is also running against them. When Norville explains what he is doing with the three girls, Lola, being the only one, stays behind and wanting to help Norville out with his mental issues. Okay, what is with Hollywood and relationships? They could do the beginning of a relationship and the lovey-dovey stuff.
When it comes to continuing a relationship, they all get writer's block.
Speaking of writer's block, yeah, we get to learn more about Velma's mom as she's going through her own issues. She's trying to write what happened to her into a book, but she's dealing with her own self-destructive nature. Well, at least we know where Velma's self-destructive nature came from. She decides that to help out with her writing more, she goes to Fred's dad for an interview to help out with the book more. Velma and Fred start talking about religion, where she starts to slowly open up to Fred's thoughts and his beliefs, but he throws it away the moment he learns that he has to give money to the church. Velma decides to go back to her mother's, and she discovers that her mother is sleeping with Fred's dad, which, during the end credits, the two coroners that we saw earlier get killed off. You know it's kind of hard to do a mystery show when any new suspect that shows up gets killed off before the episode's over. Next episode, Velma has a hatred for the rich.
What doesn't she have a hatred for?
Anyone that doesn't agree with her. Yeah, Velma's more annoyed not that her mom's with someone else, but with someone who is rich. Fred is a little bit more understandable, as it's only been 3 weeks. But with Velma's attitude, Fred's dad decided to invite her over to his mansion to try to win her over. With Norville, he is bonding with Lola as they're learning more about his hallucinations, and they're going to be using that as a means for the science fair project. Velma and her mom are arguing, and Velma's mom agrees that she will dump Fred's dad if Velma wins the science fair. Yeah, she's going to lose. Velma's trying to think of an idea for her science fair project, and Daphne suggests that her, Amber, and Velma should make the project be of solving the case of their dead biology teacher. While Velma learns that Norval's dad is being the judge, she decides to join up with Norval's group as he's bound to win. But Norval's having problems of his own, namely, he's not doing any of the drugs his dad told him to take, and he has to fail a drug test, and he's asking Velma to help him. Over the weekend, Velma goes to Fred's place and we get a musical number.
Rasa, no! Yeah, sorry about that. It's not the fact that Rasa hates musical numbers, he hates ones that try to be funny and completely fail at it. The musical number is mostly just talking about being rich, and Velma's starting to agree with it, but Fred is complaining about it.
Lucky for Velma's mom, she's having a better time talking with Fred about this relationship she has with his dad, and she's even helping him out with his science fair project.
Wow, Fred is still the most likable character.
He's like a dog that you can't get mad at no matter what he does.
Each group are doing their own. Norval's close to his finishing, but blows up a potato in a test run. Fred is at least doing effort in his toast experiment. Daphne and Amber are just meditating for an answer to show up. And Velma...
Being Velma.
An ass. I mean, for God's sakes, Norval's literally having a panic attack to the point of an hallucination, and he shocks himself.
Fred's actually enjoying the fact that Velma's mom's giving him positive reinforcement, to the point that he is hugging her like crazy. Daphne's bonding with Amber, and it feels more like they're having more of a better relationship than she has with Velma. And yeah, Velma won the science fair because she cheated, but she decided to drop the rich attitude because she wants to be hated for her own reasonings.
Okay, Rasa, I know we didn't bring it up in the last video, but I think you are right that Velma has a hate fetish.
Well, because of Norval shocking himself, he kind of lost all of his empathy.
Great, now everyone's an ass in this show.
And yes, because he talked back to his father, making everyone do this stupid meme. They all get Saturday detention. And also, you could have removed this episode. It had no connection to the mystery whatsoever.
Next episode is mostly talking about 80s references. It's one of those episodes where they tell you what they want to reference, in this case, the Breakfast Club, which they point it out, and then they keep going on with this pointing it out. Ain't the point of deconstruction, ain't the point is to deconstruct the tropes of the 80s? What the frick? Yeah, Velma spends most of the time butting heads with Amber to get Daphne off this wicked kick. Noticing Norval's freaking out again, meaning he's getting back to normal, and Amber points out he could just be possessed, and that food scares her away because she's a 50-year-old woman. And they are going to try to do a seance to talk to the ghost while trying to break 80s cliches.
Who wrote this?
The same people who lived through the 80s and are trying to be hip by using the new meta humor.
So...
How do you do, fellow kids?
Velma's trying to prove that Amber is full of it while trying to get the popular girls to join in. As they begin to do the call out, they get caught and have a massive argument about spiritualism. They finally do the chant, and with the whole spiritual chaos, Velma blames Amber and is trying to explain how they did all this stuff, which got Velma and Daphne to fight with each other. Fred now knows his mom's really a monster, and Norval's finding some clues to believe that his grandma's alive. Next episode. Daphne and Velma are in the breakup phase and using social media as the joke.
Do you remember when breakup news was only an in-group issue? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
This show was supposed to be a mystery. Do the writers remember?
Velma finds the bodies of the two coroners on top of the seance circle and believes that Amber was the one who did it. While Daphne's mom's trying to explain the situation to the public, the sheriff's brother points out that the killer is targeting middle-aged men. Daphne, trying to get away from Velma, escapes and tags along with Norval to see if his grandma is still alive. And when they get there, they get captured and finds out that she is alive and kicking. Norval wants some answers about why she's doing all this, and she explains that she's actually hiding from the government because of Project Scooby.
They can't get away from this stupidity. Just when I think it's all over, they bring it back in.
Yeah, she's using Project Scooby as more of like a means of brain therapy. When people have their brains removed from their body, they will have an understanding of who they are, And she also tells him that the 3 victims are slowly dying. Since they're on the clock and she can't go out due to her fear of the military, Daphne thinks, why not just use my body to get into the school to fix the issue?
This is more interesting than the Ace story.
Baby, getting hit with a wet cat's more interesting than the Ace story.
Yeah, Velma gets dragged off by her dad's girlfriend, showing her that Amber's been burning something in the back of Daphne's house. And Velma, seeing all this, decides to post it on social media.
Wait, wasn't this how the Salem witch trials started?
That won't work. Most everyone here is godless.
And an angry mob tries to hunt down Amber.
You also have to remember, BV, that in this show, if their manhood is on the line, men will go on a frenzied rampage.
I'm pretty sure if they explain this will all be over.
You also have to remember that the intelligence of the men in this show, unless you're Norval, they will go on a frenzy believing witchcraft is real and will destroy anything that has an opinion.
Are they mocking social media or cancel culture?
They're mocking intelligence in general. Colburn tries to settle them down with Velma's help, but it got her put on the stake.
Well, at least it's a positive.
Her mom tries to help her and she also gets put on the stake. Velma decides to try to save herself by editing all the photos and posts that the killer is going after bigger men only to prey on their ego.
So...
BB, shut up. Shut up.
Whatever, they're all safe, and the pastor who was helping out Fred earlier also gets killed.
Wow, we are running out of suspects.
Velma's confused on the case as the school is having a career day, and seeing Norval and his grandma in Daphne's body.
Why is it that it's this show that gets the trope right? When people switch bodies, you also have their voice.
We also get to see from Norval's grandma that she is more logical and more blunt with her speaking to people. Still better.
Still better than Velma.
It's more surprising that Amber known that wasn't Daphne.
Since they don't have the ingredients, Velma has to go into the army base to look for the leftover items, while Daphne is having a bigger crisis, as they see her brain waves are even lower than a roach, and she also gets kidnapped by them. Fred goes to a church confessional as he starts to open up to a mysterious person who has a connection to Velma?
So either her dad's girlfriend or Velma's mother.
Well, they're next to die then.
Velma tricks her dad to go to the army base for a career choice, and the army's just as welcoming, as they need more females like her to get anyone to join the army.
Too political.
Smart choice.
And this shows how they feel about the military as they were playing around with missiles. And during the chaos of a missile launch, Velma escapes and tries to find the location, with Fred tagging along. They find out that Project Scooby is still going on, but when they try to prove it, they quickly cover it up, and they have to find a way to make up for their screw-ups. With Fred going to be taking the blame for the missile launching, and Velma is going to be spending her time trying to recruit more people for the military.
So which one has it worse?
I would say Fred, but based on how this world works, it's more likely equal to a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, back with Norval and Purdue, she states that she knows Velma was going to fail doing this, and Norval, in a panic, decides to give the 3 girls a bucket list of ideas of what they want to do. For them, they want to play in a band.
They have no limbs.
Yeah, Purdue found a way around that. And while being an ass, she argues with her daughter about their whole mother-daughter relationship.
So, gun to your head. Purdue or Velma?
Pull.
But after hearing how her daughter really feels about her and seeing Norval freaking out, she realized she's being an ass and admits she had the cure with them the whole time and was just sending Velma there to see if the project was still running. Which, at least Purdue apologizes to Velma and got to heal the 3 girls. But all they need to do is find Daphne. During Fred's trial, he gets a call from the person who he was talking to at the church, and they admit that they're the killer and throw the priest's body in front of all of them. Next episode, since the killer was announced as a female, Colburn has won the election.
How? Oh yeah, men in this show are idiots.
Yeah, now all the women are going to be relocated into the mines, while Velma is dealing with the issues of her mother and her dad's girlfriend.
What episode are we on?
7.
This is just getting into this topic.
Yeah, mostly it's just Velma showing favoritism for one over the other and trying to get the answers from all the women here. And from the questions they were asking, this is how I was mostly feeling. They finally release their feelings to the point where they start getting along by complaining about Velma, to which Velma's little sister vanished and they hear the killer's voice in the distance. As they ran trying to find her, they see her little sister on the cliff. Luckily, the police saved her, and it's revealed by using the baby translator, she is the one who told everyone that she was the killer for the lulz.
That was the most stupidest red herring I've ever seen in this show.
Why'd they put that on the device?
With all the women going at each other's throats, Velma thinks that the killer is a man who uses the baby toy.
That would be an idea, but there were only 3, as one of the moms was the one who made the translator.
No, she lied. The idea was with the project.
Didn't the show say that men steal all women's ideas?
While gathering all the info from each of the women, all the evidence connects to being Velma's dad. Over on the male side, it's actually getting weirder as Norval's hallucinations are actually getting tired of messing with him.
It's getting sadder when the running theme are tapping out.
Yeah, he goes to Fred to try to prove that his grandma is innocent, and all the guys in the city starts to focus on a chili cookout. Luckily, it was Norval's trick to separate them all by slipping sleeping drugs into the chili, as he was able to get Fred to his grandma, which, with that all shown, Fred realized his mom is pure evil, and Norval is free from all the madness. Sykes, she's still here, so she is really a ghost.
I thought the showrunner said they were trying to be grounded in reality.
No, they said a talking dog wouldn't make any sense.
Daphne, being treated like a god to the roaches, finally looks for the answer within herself, using her birth parents as a metaphor, and it's shown that she cheated on Velma with Amber.
I'm taking to guess this episode's theme is how long it will take before you get a concussion.
I am sick and tired of this relationship crap. She finds out she's a good person, but she tells Velma what she did, and that she likes Amber, but she likes Velma more.
I am tired of this petty relationship drama. Please do something more interesting.
Next episode, keep going.
With her father being the prime culprit, but the military put a lockdown on the case, and putting him under house arrest. While Velma's group is going on a field trip, and she's worried about her relationship.
My father could be a killer with military connections, or my relationship has hit a rough patch. Which is more important?
She talks with the popular girls, and they help Velma into manipulating Daphne, and this is all about relationships.
Even I'm not going to be waiting for you to wake up. Finish this fast.
She gets pulled aside as her dad escaped and hopped onto the bus with them, and gives her info about this project that the military was working on. But she has to ruin her reputation to get this info. From what it was shown, the 5 men all have a connection with each other as they secretly work for the military, and there is a 6th member, but there's barely any info on them. Since Fred's accepting the truth, he stops believing in ghosts and starts being the third wheel in Norval and Lola's relation.
Give us a moment.
With Norval causing a protest and the police locking them in, Daphne admits she didn't cheat on Velma with Amber, but asked Amber to help her put a curse on Velma. During the chaos, the group escapes with the military chasing after them. Daphne explains that the curse that she put on Velma is that no one will love her and she will die alone. So...
Rasa, there are things that you can say that can get you demonetized. There are things you can say that can get you to lose the channel. But to say something that can get you killed, I did this to you out of your own safety, not out of anger. After a massive chase, he gets caught and the military officer explains it was for his safety, as that Project Scooby was actually changed from the original, from brain switching to observing teenagers, as each of the 5 members was given a task to observe them. It only went back to the original goal when the number 6 member, codename Uncle Scooby, found Velma's mom reading the research papers, and using the notes that were taken, made a super soldier to integrate with teenagers. But the soldier attacked the men as they feared it.
So, what about the bodies?
They were trying to put the bodies back, but they couldn't.
Well, everything's nearly okay. Velma starts putting everything together, only for the bus to get attacked and Velma get kidnapped by the soldier. And that Amber is working with Purdue.
Where the hell that came from?
Next episode, we're doing this again.
Again?
You know, putting all the storyline crap in the last 2 episodes.
It starts with Velma giving a lesson about people being evil with the cute, do people hate you because you are bad, or are you bad because people hate you?
Yes, the first impressions are supposed to set it up, and the second response is supposed to cement it.
As the group worries about Velma missing, the police, the military, and Fred's dad security are all wanting to find her, but it turns into a dick-waving contest and the teens just said, we'll do it ourselves.
When was this effort last season?
Main character.
Oh yeah.
And we see that Velma's trapped in a cage as she's speaking with Scrappy Doo, a dog modified by the military tech to infiltrate teens groups and given a translator toy to speak. And he has moments of outbursts saying catchphrases. Yeah, they use meta showing flashbacks to feel sorry for him and to tell her that the real killer is Gigi's dad, Don, the military general. And to prove that he is innocent, he let her escape, and she just runs off screaming.
As much as I hate their meta humor, having Velma running and screaming actually does make sense. Too bad they ruined that meta humor with the whole walking around in circles, because back then they were saving money on animation. Here it's just stupidity.
But they are lucky as Norval's grandma shows up to help them, as because Velma's missing, the military is looking everywhere, and the only reason she knows where they are is because Amber works for her. Amber states that they're doing this because it's to help Norval as he is possessed by Fred's mom.
It's weird that the new person is doing a better job and helping out more than the one we're following.
Yeah, Purdue explains when doing brain surgery she encounters ghosts in the supernatural sense, and when she was in Daphne's body, Amber was able to tell, so she hired them to see about Norval's issue. Scrappy catches up and tries to explain his backstory, which Velma's just doing the job for him, but fills in that because Scrappy and Don always have beef with each other, especially since he kept disrespecting him and chewing his shoes.
And that is why you should use the dog whisperers technique to get the dog to behave.
Or you could just talk to him. He understands what we're saying.
But because no one would listen to Don or sign the papers to get rid of Scrappy, he decides to kill the others. Velma reunites with everyone and makes up a lie about what happened, and during all that, Velma's mom gets permission from Velma to marry Fred's dad. Besides, her dad's also dealing with his own marital issues. Daphne's also having some issues in question, and it's revealed to by Velma is the plan to save Scrappy, as she reveals him to her, and Daphne is having some problems with Scrappy, as he's not showing himself to be more of the likable sense. The reason why Velma believes in Scrappy because she was in a similar situation when no one would listen to her about her mother or when she was accused of the murders.
Which makes sense, but missing people are kind of common. Her dad basically believed that she left them, and when the police gave her a chance to solve her own mystery, they arrested the first person she pointed to, no problems asked. So her kind of defense is kind of stupid.
They did point out why not Scrappy just grab Don because he's invincible, but Scrappy points out that Don has his greatest weakness. He's afraid of vacuum cleaners. Oh.
Well, certain studies show that dogs' fears come from many aspects, but I'm taking a guess that his animal instincts overpowers his rationality.
Velma's idea is to get her father to propose to his girlfriend, and during a bachelor party, separate Don from the guys.
But the plan could be ruined if Don just says he's busy that day.
You have to remember this show's logic.
Yeah, she runs in and tries to get her dad to propose using the dick-waving contest again to get him to do it, but he explained like how her mom wanted Velma's approval, Sophie wants the same too.
That's actually kind of heartfelt.
Yeah, too bad it's Velma, and it's funny enough that Velma has to sign a prenup.
I thought her dad would have it rough.
His is bigger.
But because Daphne was with Scrappy for a while, she decides she doesn't believe he's innocent and leaves. At the bachelor party, Scrappy ambushes and admits that he's the killer, but Velma also said she saw through it all as a trap and reversed it on him as she revealed how she did it. But Scrappy has the upper hand as he has the 3 bodies hostage with only him knowing where the location is. At the bachelor party, Scrappy ambushes and admits that he is the killer, but Velma also said she saw through it all as a trap and reversed it on him as she revealed how she did it. But Scrappy has the upper hand as he has the 3 bodies hostage with only him knowing where the location is. At Fred's cellar, the group is working on a way to get the ghost to reveal itself to everyone, but she only appears when she heard that her ex-husband's getting married.
Is it sad that the ghost believed that she was a hallucination?
She decided to make her son stronger by giving him the courage and helping him be friends with Norval, but since her ex is getting married, she sees her son is doomed, with Fred trying to get her to send off with a hug. She just laughs in his face. Then they try to do a physical hug by her possessing Amber, but it causes an issue as 2 souls cannot be in one body. And she decides to possess Fred, fighting for control. And Fred was able to remove her out of him, which made her happy as he standed up to her. But because of that, she's got dragged down into hell.
What would you expect? She killed 3 people. You think she was gonna go to heaven for this?
At the end, it's revealed Scrappy is working with Perdue as he wants her to transfer his brain into one of the 3 bodies. Last episode, Velma gets confronted and threatened by the mysterious Uncle Scooby to stop looking for them, and after that, she tells the police she's done with this case.
I would say that's a twist, but for how Velma acts, this is believable.
As Velma still wants to solve this case, Daphne asks her if she could use her Wiccan stuff she learned to manifest the answer.
That is completely stupid. Like, that's going to work. What are you doing?
I am manifesting a remote into my hands.
Cool!
Give me that! Just continue.
Lucky for Velma, both her parents are doing a double wedding, so Velma can continue investigating. And Velma's idea is for her and Daphne to switch brains, and Velma and Daphne's body will investigate, while Daphne and Velma's body tricks Uncle Scooby thinking she's off the case.
It's so dumb.
Oh, it's so dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb.
With them switched, Velma believes she can get the job done faster because she's hot, which Daphne's annoyed. We just did beauty standards last season. Why we have to bring it up again?
I think they padding the episode and adding more beauty jokes that they couldn't do last season.
With Perdue holding the bodies for Scrappy only for Norval and Lola to find out, and are excited as she gets her body back, only because she wants to make love with him. But it's completely ruined because Norval didn't know which body is which.
He didn't look at a photo of her beforehand or even know anything about her?
BV, no offense, but this show glazed by them so fast, I didn't even remember who was who. I can remember who Brenda was because she was the first one that was named and was also the one that was in the trailers.
Weirdly, in all this chaos of Norval talking with Lola, Lola was able to inform the other 2 that Perdue had their bodies. To which Velma confronts Perdue and almost has everything read except saying Perdue is Scooby. Scooby made a deal with Perdue to switch her brain with one of the bodies to escape, but Scooby grabbed Velma, removed her brain from the body, knocked out Daphne, and placed them in the same closet. And because of Velma's stupidity, she's now slowly dying. But because of Norval trying to make up with Lola, Perdue overhears and starts to have a change of heart.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Fred's story with the investors and how it ends, but since I'm not a licensed therapist, I could best describe it with this.
Luckily, due to some bonds, Daphne wakes up and saves Velma, and they switch back. And during this loving moment, Velma finds out who Scooby is.
That was quick.
Yeah, and Scrappy escaped, killing the sheriff and the janitor.
Had to add 2 more male bodies to the list, didn't you, writers?
They run back to the room and confront Scooby, holding Daphne hostage and at gunpoint, but Velma calls their bluff, as they're ready to escape, only to get knocked out by Amber. With Scooby tied up, we find out who they are.
So, the answer?
Sophie, Velma's stepmom.
Wow, going full Disney.
Well, it makes sense. Being the owner of a diner where teens hang out, that actually makes sense. Also, for her to start up the project, she must have been the first. It also makes sense because she was watching dogs videos of them actually talking using technology of computers was also made sense of the idea of how to make Scrappy. But because Scrappy is pure evil and is killing people, she either had to work with him or die.
At worst, she's an accomplice more than a killer.
Well, the girls got their bodies back, and Lola was the third victim. Okay, now we know. But Scrappy crashes the party and starts killing people. As they go after them, Velma decides to stay behind to finish them off, but a goof-up got her killed. But the military set up a missile strike to hit Scrappy, blasting him.
Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone, so that's a bright side.
Too bad he's still alive, but in the last minute, he gets possessed and dies by Velma's ghost.
Well, it's still a win.
I don't know how she did that. She wasn't there when the ghost was doing the whole possession of Amber and Fred. But anyway, since science can't bring Velma back, Amber suggests that they wait till Halloween to try to bring her back, as long as nothing bad happens.
And now it's season 2. It was better than season 1, but it still sucked.
The mystery was a little better compared to the first one, having no sense, like we're supposed to read the writer's mind to know how it's supposed to lead to this answer. This one was a little bit more connected. Not well, but I'll give them credit. But if you minus the mystery aspect, the show is literally just a romance drama with Scooby-Doo coat. And its humor was from groaning to, please continue the story, I don't care. And please, writers, stop using meta humor. Not every adult comedy needs to be meta humor. The soapbox speaking drop to the bare basics must be because of the fact of all the criticism that they took, as they went for the low bar political talking points. And that's mostly all my thoughts with Velma. With Daphne, I had no clue what they were trying to do with her. This whole season was either talking about a romance with Velma or her identity. And they just had her mostly be a companion for Norval or Amber. Norval is at least trying to understand what his issues from the PTSD, using his grandmother's notes to try to fix it, and him forming a romance showing that he's improving from last season. They also never explained why he moved back to his old school. With Fred, they're showing him more improvement as he's coping with the grief and loss of his mother, especially learning that his mother was a monster. And I could see how learning to be a more independent person. With the new person, Amber, they were just there, but they were more helpful than Velma, but just as annoying. I think they were only better because we barely got to see them and they were only shown in small dosages. Can't remember.
Okay, now that it's over, I can finish this stupid show off. Vivi, please do not tell me there is a season 3.
There was a Halloween special.
This is gonna be a trilogy, ain't it?
Okay, another video down. I can make sure Rasa will be able to get this one on time. Okay, that's it. I'm getting a security camera.